So let's see what we did in 2 sessions. In our first lesson, we understood who am I, and we came to know that we are not this physical costume, but we are souls. And what is soul? Soul is eternal, soul is immortal, imperishable, and soul is made by 7 qualities: knowledge, purity, peace, happiness, love, power, bliss, which means all spiritual qualities. And as we all came into body consciousness, we considered ourselves to be a body. And so that's why on our first day, when I asked you, who are you? You all gave me the answers of name and nationality and profession, which all the list belong to this body only. So that shows that we have completely lost our identity. So we understood that I am not this costume, but I am a soul. And I, the soul, sits here at the center of the forehead and controls this car, this body. And so it is very important to be aware of our true identity while performing actions. And then we understood also that where we have come from. In this world, in this body, I, the soul, am a guest. But I belong to the world beyond sound, which means the land of peace, the land of liberation, the incorporeal world, the world of light, soul world. And it is golden red light world where we all souls belong to. From there, we souls came down on this stage. We took this body, which is made by 5 elements, matter of this world, and we play our roles, different parts. Then, yes, day before yesterday, in our second day, we understood who is our Father. Our Father means we all know our physical father. But as we didn't know who we are, we also forgot the Father of souls, Supreme Soul. So after understanding the self, we understood who Supreme Soul is, who is God. He is also a point of light, invisible, eternal, not so big, not big or small in size, but an invisible point of light. God is light. And we also understood his attributes, that he is ocean of love, ocean of happiness, ocean of purity, bestower of happiness, and is the only one who purifies, who can purify us souls. Souls cannot be purified just by performing few charitable actions or by bathing into Ganges. No, the body might get clean, but in order to clean the soul, means in order to remove all the vices or the dust which is on the soul, we need to have connection with the Supreme Soul. And that connection, today we are going to learn. That connection is called Raj Yoga. Highest connection. There are so many different types of connections in the world. So we will definitely talk about them all. And then we understood where is God. There we talked about that God is not omnipresent. He is up in that golden red light world. We call it Paramdham, Parlok, land of peace. And we also understood his profession, that he is purifier, generator, operator, destroyer means purifier, liberator. Only he, no human being can purify any other human being. No human being can liberate any other human being. It is the task or the duty of only one, and that is Supreme Soul, Baba or God. So now today we will talk about Raja Yoga meditation, the highest connection, because there are so many different connections. Raja means king or the supreme master, and yoga is another Sanskrit word which means meeting, and the opposite word of yoga means viyoga, means separating. So yoga means meeting, communion, link, connecting, okay, and simply remembering. That is the finest form of yoga. Remembering means connecting. So Raja Yoga means the supreme connection. Supreme connection, because there are so many different types of yogas in the world. There is a Hatha Yoga, where you do different exercise, with physical discipline, and you discipline your body. You sit in some postures. That is called Hatha Yoga. Then there is Buddhi Yoga, yoga through your intellect. When a mother remembers her child, when a student remembers his teacher, yeah. So we have a habit of remembering. A wife remembers her husband. So you have connection through your intellect. So there are different types of yogas: Gyan Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, Hatha Yoga, etc. So there is also Raj Yoga. Now Raj Yoga means the highest connection or the king of all the yogas. Means when you are doing Raj Yoga, all the different yogas are included in Raj Yoga. So then you don't have to separately go to Hatha Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or Gyan Yoga. No. When you are doing Raj Yoga, that means all other yogas are included in Raj Yoga. Now, what is meditation? We all, when someone says sit for meditation, we have a habit of just sitting cross-legged and closing our eyes, and that's it. Then we don't know what to do. But only with Brahma Kumaris, when we are teaching you Raj Yoga meditation, only here we practice meditating while keeping our eyes open. So that also keeps this Raj Yoga meditation different and unique. So there is no need to close your eyes. If you are comfortable with your eyes open, you can do so. You can still meditate while keeping your eyes open, but you know what you have to do. So meditation means, simple words, to heal. It's a process. When your finger is cut or when you have a cut on your body, then it takes time. Even if you apply the medicine, it takes some time to get healed. So there is a process of getting healing. Yeah. So in the same way, when I, the soul, have connection, means yoga or remembrance of the Supreme Soul, then all the wounds, all the negativities, the dirt, impurities which are layered on the soul gets healed, means getting removed, and the soul becomes pure, means full of all divine virtues and qualities. And so this is the purpose of Raj Yoga meditation. It is not only for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 hour in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening, just to get relaxed and just to have positive thoughts. No, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to transform your nature, to transform your qualities, to transform your character. And on top, to transform your consciousness. There is a big transformation we bring into our consciousness, from body consciousness to soul consciousness. From the consciousness of those five vices, lust, greed, anger, attachment, ego, and that is transformed to love, peace, happiness, bliss, power, purity, etc. And so there is a big change, transformation in our life. And so it is a lifetime process. It's not that I do it every Monday or I do it only 5 minutes in 24 hours. No, it is, the part of our life. Like breathing, it's part. You cannot say I can breathe only for 1 hour. Yeah. So it is something like that. It should include into my lifestyle. Okay. And so let's understand what is the difference between what we have been doing, different practices in path of devotion, prayers, etc. Meditation is completely different from prayers and performing different rituals, etc. Now, yoga, first of all, I would say that better not to use the word yoga, because sometimes we feel, oh, it is going to be very difficult. I am old. I have these problems in my body, this and that. So we all are used to of the word remembrance. From the morning till night, we are continuously remembering something, someone, right? So whether it is visible or not, in front of us or far away, we can still remember. So it is a journey of remembrance, connection. So we call it yad, not yog, remembrance. Now, the connection. Raj Yoga means when I, the soul, forget this body, I consider myself to the soul, means I stabilize myself in my original self, original quality, and I remember or connect with my Father or God. And then there is transformation. Yeah. For example, now you are connecting. There are so many brothers and sisters trying to connect, but they are not able to connect. So those who are connecting can receive whatever we are sharing, right? And those who are not able to connect cannot receive. So it's the same thing. When I am able to connect, I receive what God has to give us and what I need. And if I am not able to connect, then I don't receive it. It means we are not able to download the qualities and the information or the knowledge that He has to give us. So connection is important. Okay. So in meditation, means Raj Yoga meditation, the purpose is to purify the soul. That is the purpose of Raj Yoga meditation. Not to be positive and just to relax. No, that you can do even at night when we sleep. We are relaxing. Yeah. But that is not burning our vices, our sins. No. But Raj Yoga absolves all the sins and the impurities and makes the soul pure, cleans us. So there are different types of connection, and the basis of connecting someone or remembering someone is relationship. Just for 1 week before, no one knew me. So there is no question that you can remember me. And since 1 week, many of you might be remembering me too, right? So first is introduction. We are introduced to each other. Then there is a relationship. And then based on a relationship, there is communication. And the base of relationship is communication. First is introduction and then communication. So first we got the introduction of the soul, introduction of the Supreme Soul. Where is he, what he does, everything. And then second is to communicate. That is also very easy. Communication. Now, there are no schools that can teach you what to talk with your father, what to talk when you are with your mother, what to talk when you are with your kids, and what to talk when you are with your friends. So we know, according to the relationship, in the same way we communicate with them. There are no schools or no teachers who teaches us. But communication is important. Imagine, for example, you are introduced to someone. You see someone's picture. Before we get married, we see someone's picture, and then we get some introduction, small introduction. Then we meet, and then in our intellect, it is fixed that the relationship is going to be created, and so we start remembering each other. And in that remembrance, we start communicating with each other. So maybe in the beginning, the communication might be once in a month. And then the more you come closer, you understand each other, you communicate often. Maybe once in a week, then once a day, and then maybe 3-4 times a day, right? And so it makes, forges a relationship. Make the relationship stronger and stronger. So the same things apply here. Now, how to communicate with God? I will tell you 2 stories, because there is no method that teaches us how to communicate with someone. So with God too. There was a small child in the church, very young, very small child, and he was doing something in his book, and the priest enters, and by seeing such a small child, priest creates few questions like, what is he doing here? But he finishes his prayers and then goes to the child, and the priest asked a child, what are you doing here? And the child says, what are you doing here? The priest says, I'm doing my prayers. So the child says, I'm also doing my prayers. So priest asks, what are you doing in your prayers? And child says, what are you doing in your prayers? So the priest tells him, his prayers. And child says, well, I was just relating ABCD. Yeah, this is what he was doing. And the priest says, is this a prayer? Then the child says, what is there in your prayers? What is there? Only alphabets, right? There is nothing more than that. So the difference was, you already set your alphabets and offered to him, to God. And what I am offering? Alphabets. And asking God, the way you want to set them, you can. So both are right. It's not that the priest is not right and so the child is not right. No, both are right in their own ways. So there is no right or wrong method to communicate with God. It depends what is your relationship with God. I tell you another story. There was again young child. Every day he used to go to jungle with his cows and goats, and then whole day he will spend in the jungle sitting alone and just seeing his animals, eating and moving around. So just one day he had a thought that how I am getting bored here alone. In the same way, God is up. He's also sitting maybe alone. He must be getting bored. So if he comes here, and so we can play together. Such a small child, beautiful thoughts. And then every day he started doing that. He will come in the jungle, he will leave his animals and then start talking with God. Okay, God, come now. I am free. I know you must be getting bored. Now let's play, etc. So one day, one pandit or like kind of priest was passing by, and he heard a noise, and he says he saw a child and no one else. So he says he went to the child and he says, who are you talking with? So the child says, I talk with God. And the pandit, the priest says, do you even know who God is, and what are you talking? So he said, oh, we are not only talking, every day we play together, and before I made friendship with God, he was getting so bored, etc. And this priest was so angry. He says, is this the way to talk to God? Do you know even who God is? I am going to teach you how to talk with God. So what he does, he writes something, maybe a prayer or a mantra, I don't know. He writes something and he asks this child to repeat this. He says, you repeat this 10 times. This is the way to talk to God. A poor child, he was busy in reading, relating those prayers or mantras, I don't know. In the evening, when the Pandit reaches his home and he does his prayers and all, so inside he talks with God and he says, I showed someone your way, how to talk with you. And suddenly, God appears and he says, Pandit, what you did? I used to wait for this child. You see what God says. I used to wait for this child every day. Since you have given him something, he's not even thinking about him because he was busy reading. You see? So that means even without knowing him, a child was communicating with him. And that's why God says, I used to wait for this child to come and play with me. So they used to play together. You see, so the essence is there's no way or method how to communicate with God. But we have to understand that we have his full introduction, an accurate introduction, and we know that he is incorporeal. He is incorporeal, and that is the reason we can have all relationships with him. He can be our mother, he can be our father, he can be our child, he can be our companion, our teacher, our guide, our best friend, and whatever relation. So remembrance must be, based on some relationship. It's not just I sit and I consider myself to be a light, I go up, connect with this light and always visualize that this light is filling me with love, this happiness, I come down and that's it. No. It will not work for long time because, human beings have a nature of getting bored with one thing. So we need newness, creativity. And so it is always advisable to remember him with some relationship as a father. So then we have to churn, like, if God is my father, then who am I? How I should act Imagine, even in today's world, a child of a president, you can see his intoxication and his behavior just because he is aware, he is conscious that whose child he is. So, in the same way, if we just remember this, that whose child am I? God is my father. And who is he? Ocean of peace, merciful, purifier, donor, giver, etc. So automatically we will have that happiness, we will have that intoxication, and it will definitely come into our character. Yeah, we will talk about it later. So we should have a relationship, and that's up to us what relationship we are making in this life. So we can definitely forge that relationship and fulfill ourselves. Yeah. So the yad or remembrance of the Supreme Soul, there should be communication. And you can talk whatever you want to talk, whatever. As a friend, we know that how we talk with friend. If he is my child, how we will talk with our child. So that is one thing, communication is important. There is another thing that we are very used to in all the religion and in the path of devotion when we are performing any kind of devotion. Three things we are used to. One, fear. Right? Fear. There is fear. Second, begging, asking. And third, dealing or doing business. Dealing. Yeah. So there is fear, asking and begging, and dealing. So these three things were implanted in our mind, and we are very used to. The moment you are inside, in front of God or any idol, from inside you will start asking, God, give me happiness, God, give me peace of mind, God, have mercy, have blessing, etc. So we are so used to it. These three things don't exist in meditation. Yeah, so it's such a big transformation. Now, if we talk about our first nature of asking, begging. So in the path of devotion, we always beg. Even, for example, there is sickness, body is ill, and we will ask God, please God, have mercy, have blessing. I want to get rid of this sickness and that sickness. Or maybe if you don't have money, you will go in front of God and ask, please God, give me this job, give me that job, give me money, give me car, give me a house, give me good housewife, etc. So we have to know what are we asking and to whom, from whom, and what is his job. We understood day before yesterday what is his profession. And when we go, we just ask. We don't even know that, who we are asking and what are we asking. And we don't want to do anything for that. But when we know him, who is he? And so what happens, for example, as I told you, imagine a child who is a child of a beggar. A child of a beggar has a habit of begging, correct? But one day, this child is adopted by a king. A child of a beggar who has a habit of begging, one day he gets adopted by a king. So, after becoming a prince, do you think still he would beg? Is it possible? What do you think? Will he beg or no? You can answer me. You can unmute yourself. No. He will not beg, right? So, because now he is aware, he becomes aware whose child am I? Hmm? I am a child of a king. When he was aware that I am a child of a beggar, he had a habit of begging. But when he becomes aware that I am a child of a king, he starts giving. From begging, from a beggar, he becomes a giver. You can see the transformation. So this transformation takes place in our life. When we become aware, whose child am I, whose friend am I, whose companion am I, and who is my companion, who is my teacher, who is my guru. And accordingly, the more I am aware of that relationship, the more my nature, my sanskar, my character will automatically be equal to him. So there is no need to ask or to beg. Even if you are a good human being, a charitable human being, every day a beggar comes to your home and begs, you give him something, definitely, because you are a charitable soul. So you give him something, but you will not give him your property. Maybe you will give him something more, one day something extra, but not your full property. Even if your maid is good, you can give her or him a bonus, but not your property. So who is the master of your property? Your child. The moment he is born, he is an heir, master of the property, right? And so I should not forget whose child am I, or who I belong to, and how he is, his attributes and his qualities I should be aware of. And that's what we do when I give you homework. You are reminded of your qualities, of the qualities of the Father. Okay, 1 minute is remaining. So you will disconnect. You use again the same ID and password and reconnect in 1 minute. Okay. So in Raj Yoga meditation, we don't ask or beg. Second thing, why we don't even ask? Because we know, when we go, before we used to go to the temples or the churches, and we have the habit of praising God also. And we praise, we really praise him. We keep him here at a very high